Ahoy there, me hearties. This is the strange tale of the Mary Celeste, the most famous ghost ship in history. But what really happened to the crew and passengers? Alien abduction? A sea monster? Pirates? This is You Should Be Scared, your number one destination for everything mysterious and unsolved. And I'm your host, Robbie. Let's dive in. Our story begins in a shipyard in Spencer Island, Nova Scotia. It's 1860, and a new ship is taking shape. Christened the Amazon, she's a 103-foot-long brigantine. Crafted from sturdy timber, her hull is sleek and strong. Imagine the clang of hammers, the rasp of saws, the shouts of shipwrights. Little do they know this vessel is destined for a far more intriguing fate. The Amazon embarks on her maiden voyage in 1861. Her fate will become intertwined with one of maritime history's most enduring mysteries. The Amazon's early years were far from smooth sailing. Her first captain, Robert McClellan, fell ill and died shortly after taking command. Over the next few years, the ship changed hands several times, plagued by a series of misfortunes. There were collisions, groundings, and a dismasting. Rumours began to circulate that the Amazon was cursed, a ship marked by misfortune. Despite these setbacks, the Amazon continued to sail, her sturdy hull and reliable design seeing her through rough seas and challenging voyages. With each voyage, the Amazon's legend grew, not for her speed or her cargo capacity, but for the air of mystery that seemed to follow her like a shadow. Little did anyone know, her most intriguing chapter was yet to be written. In 1868, the Amazon found herself in a familiar position, undergoing repairs in a shipyard. This time, however, fate had other plans. A group of New York businessmen, led by Richard W. Haynes, purchased the ship, seeing her potential despite her checkered past. They invested heavily in her restoration, refurbishing her cabins, strengthening her masts, and giving her a fresh coat of paint. No longer content with the name Amazon, they decided to rechristen her the Mary Celeste, a name that would become synonymous with maritime mystery. The Mary Celeste emerged from the shipyard a transformed vessel. She was ready for a fresh start, a chance to shed the misfortunes of her past and embrace a brighter future. Little did anyone know, this fresh start would lead her into the heart of a mystery that would captivate the world and remain unsolved for centuries to come. Benjamin Briggs was more than just a captain, he was a skilled navigator and a respected leader. In 1872, Briggs took the Mary Celeste on a voyage from New York to Genoa, Italy, with 1,701 barrels of denatured alcohol. He assembled a small, experienced crew he trusted with his life. The Mary Celeste was to be his family's vessel, a means to provide for them and share his love of the sea. Briggs hailed from a long line of seafarers, known for his piety and meticulous attention to detail. His unwavering dedication to his ship and crew was well known. Briggs wrote in his diary, "For me, this voyage is particularly special. I have my wife, Sarah, and our young daughter, Sophia, accompanying us. Our 7-year-old son, Arthur, remains at home in Massachusetts attending school." The atmosphere on board was one of anticipation mixed with the usual pre-voyage jitters. On November 7th, 1872, the Mary Celeste set sail from New York Harbor, her sails catching the wind as she headed out into the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean. Little did anyone on board know this seemingly routine voyage would become the subject of endless speculation, a maritime enigma that would capture the imaginations of generations to come. As the Mary Celeste disappeared over the horizon, she sailed not just into the vast Atlantic, but into the realm of legend and mystery. The early days of the voyage passed without incident. The Mary Celeste, her sails filled with the steady trade winds, made good progress eastward. Captain Briggs, ever the skilled navigator, kept the ship on course, his sextant a familiar extension of his hand. The weather, though occasionally boisterous, remained favourable. The crew, their spirits high, spun yarns, sang sea shanties, and dreamt of reaching their destination and the comforts of solid ground. Evenings aboard the Mary Celeste brought a sense of tranquility. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, the crew would gather on deck, sharing stories and laughter beneath a canopy of stars. Sarah Briggs would read aloud from her well-worn Bible, her voice a soothing balm against the backdrop of the endless ocean. Young Sophia, her eyes wide with wonder, would gaze up at the star-studded sky, lost in a world of childhood dreams. These were moments of simple joy, of shared humanity amidst the vastness of the sea. Captain Briggs, a stickler for detail, continued to meticulously document the voyage in his logbook. His entries, written in a neat, legible hand, provided a glimpse into the daily life aboard the Mary Celeste. He recorded the sighting of other vessels, the changing wind patterns, and even the occasional playful antics of dolphins swimming alongside the ship. But amidst these routine entries, there were hints of something strange. On November 23rd, Briggs wrote of a strange discoloration in the water, a phenomenon he couldn't quite explain. On November 24th, he wrote of a heavy fog that descended upon the ship, reducing visibility to a few yards. The fog was accompanied by an unsettling silence, as if the sea itself has fallen quiet. These entries, though seemingly insignificant at the time, would later take on a haunting significance. As November the 24th gave way to the 25th, the atmosphere aboard the Mary Celeste underwent a subtle yet palpable shift. The heavy fog persisted, shrouding the ship in an eerie silence. A sense of unease settled over the crew, a feeling that something was not quite right. The fog, thick as cotton wool, seemed to muffle sound, isolating the Mary Celeste from the rest of the world. November 25th, 1872. This date, etched in maritime history, would mark the last known entry in Captain Briggs's logbook. His final words, written in a hand that betrayed a hint of urgency, simply read, "Weather fair, wind light, ship becalmed." After that, silence. What transpired on that fateful day, and in the days that followed, remains a mystery, a void in time that has fueled endless speculation and debate. Did the crew encounter a sudden and catastrophic event? Or did something more bizarre and more inexplicable befall the Mary Celeste? Let's explore the theories together. Theory 1. An act of mutiny. One of the earliest and most persistent theories centered on the possibility of mutiny. Had the crew of the Mary Celeste, driven by desperation, greed, or madness, turned on their captain and his family? The idea of a mutiny on the high seas, though horrifying, was not entirely far-fetched. Life aboard a 19th century sailing vessel was harsh, unforgiving, and often dangerous. The crew, confined to cramped quarters, subjected to the whims of the sea and the authority of their captain, could easily fall prey to discontent. But the evidence, or rather the lack thereof, cast doubt on this theory. The Mary Celeste showed no signs of a struggle. There were no bloodstains, no weapons out of place, no indication of a violent confrontation. Furthermore, Captain Briggs was known for his fair treatment of his crew. He was a devout Christian, a man of principle, unlikely to provoke such a drastic and bloody response from his men. Theory 2. Piracy on the high seas. The vastness of the Atlantic, with its hidden coves and unpredictable weather, had long been a haven for pirates. Could the Mary Celeste have fallen victim to a well-coordinated pirate attack? The idea of pirates plundering the Mary Celeste, her crew and passengers taken hostage or worse, captured the public imagination. Stories of Blackbeard, Calico Jack, and other notorious pirates filled the pages of newspapers and fueled countless tavern tales. However, pirates were primarily interested in loot. The Mary Celeste, though carrying a valuable cargo of denatured alcohol, was found with her cargo largely intact. Why would pirates board a ship, overpower her crew, and then leave, without taking anything of value? It simply didn't make sense. The Mary Celeste, it seemed, had been spared from the clutches of these maritime marauders. Theory 3. Monsters of the deep. The sea, in its vastness and depth, held creatures beyond imagination. Could the Mary Celeste have encountered a kraken, a colossal squid, or some other monstrous denizen of the deep, dragged beneath the waves by tentacles as thick as ship masts? Tales of sea monsters had been a part of maritime lore for centuries. Sailors, their imaginations fueled by long nights at sea, and the occasional glimpse of something massive and shadowy beneath the waves, spun yarns of creatures capable of swallowing ships whole. While the existence of giant squid had been scientifically documented, The idea of a creature capable of taking down a ship the size of the Mary Celeste was highly improbable. Furthermore, there was no sign of damage to the ship's hull, no evidence of a struggle with a creature of immense strength. The Mary Celeste, it seemed, had not been claimed by the Kraken or any other monstrous denizen of the deep. Theory 4. Intoxicated by misfortune. The Mary Celeste's cargo, 1,701 barrels of denatured alcohol, fueled another theory. Could the crew, driven by thirst or despair, have tapped into the cargo only to be poisoned by the toxic fumes? Denatured alcohol, unlike its consumable cousin, was rendered undrinkable by the addition of toxic substances. Exposure to its fumes could cause blindness, organ damage, and even death. Could this explain the crew's sudden and inexplicable disappearance? However, Captain Briggs, a man of piety and discipline, would have been unlikely to allow his crew to tamper with the cargo. Furthermore, the barrels, though some had been disturbed, were largely intact. It seemed unlikely that the crew, even if they had consumed the denatured alcohol, would have been incapacitated so suddenly and completely as to vanish without a trace. Theory 5. Death from the depths. The sea, for all its beauty, held hidden dangers. Could the Mary Celeste have sailed into a pocket of volcanic gas, a silent and deadly cloud rising from the ocean floor, asphyxiating the crew and leaving the ship unharmed? Volcanic activity, though primarily associated with land-based eruptions, could also release gases from fissures in the ocean floor. These gases, including carbon dioxide and methane, were odorless and colourless, capable of suffocating anyone caught in their path. Could this explain the lack of a struggle, the sudden and complete disappearance of the crew? The Mary Celeste, sailing through a patch of discoloured water, her crew unaware of the danger lurking beneath the surface, could have sailed into a silent death trap. While this theory remained speculative, it offered a plausible explanation for the lack of evidence and the suddenness of the tragedy. Theory 6. A portal to the unknown. The Mary Celeste's last known position, though hundreds of miles from the infamous Bermuda Triangle, raised eyebrows. Could the ship have strayed into a region of unexplained electromagnetic anomalies, a vortex that swallowed her whole, leaving no trace behind? The Bermuda Triangle, a region in the North Atlantic Ocean, had long been associated with unexplained maritime disappearances. Theories abounded, ranging from magnetic anomalies to rogue waves. While the Mary Celeste's disappearance didn't fit the typical profile of a Bermuda Triangle incident, the possibility remained intriguing. Could there be other, as yet undiscovered regions of the ocean where the laws of physics ceased to apply, where ships and their crews vanished without a trace? The Mary Celeste, a ghost ship caught in a web of speculation, seemed to point towards the possibility of forces beyond our understanding. Theory 7. Out of this world. The lack of a logical explanation for the Mary Celeste's abandonment fueled speculation that extended beyond the realm of the earthly. Could the crew and passengers have been abducted by extraterrestrial beings? Their ship left to drift aimlessly, a silent testament to an encounter with the unknown. Stories of alien visitations and abductions had captured the public imagination for decades. The possibility of beings from other worlds visiting Earth, their motives and intentions unknown, was both terrifying and exhilarating. While there was no evidence to support the theory of an alien abduction, the Mary Celeste's disappearance seemed to fit a pattern, a narrative of unexplained events that defied rational explanation. Could the ship frozen in time be a message from the stars, a warning about forces beyond our comprehension? The Mary Celeste, a ghost ship adrift in a sea of speculation, became a blank canvas onto which people projected their fears and fascinations with the unknown. Theory 8. A calculated gamble. The Mary Celeste's disappearance, though tragic, presented a significant financial opportunity. Could the ship's disappearance have been an elaborate hoax, a case of insurance fraud orchestrated by Captain Briggs himself? The theory went that Briggs, facing financial ruin, had devised a plan to scuttle the Mary Celeste, collect the insurance money, and disappear with his family and crew to start a new life. While this theory painted a rather unflattering picture of Captain Briggs, a man known for his integrity, it couldn't be entirely dismissed. The financial incentives were high, and the lack of evidence in this case could be seen as evidence itself. However, This theory, like the others, had its flaws. Why abandon a perfectly seaworthy ship? Why leave behind valuable navigational instruments? And most importantly, why involve his wife and young daughter in such a risky scheme? The mystery of the Mary Celeste cast a long shadow over the family of Captain Benjamin Briggs. His wife, Sarah, and their young daughter, Sophia, vanished along with him, their fates forever entwined with the ghost ship. Arthur Briggs, the couple's 7-year-old son, who had stayed behind in Massachusetts, grew up haunted by the mystery of his family's disappearance. He became a successful businessman, but the loss of his parents and sister at such a young age left an unfillable void in his life. Arthur said of the mystery, "Despite numerous requests from journalists and researchers, I refuse to discuss the Mary Celeste or the fate of my family. I keep their memory close, but the pain of their loss, compounded by the mystery surrounding their disappearance, is too much to bear publicly." So that's it, you gutless, damnable cur. The strange story of the Mary Celeste. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any theories, please leave me a comment, I'd love to hear them. Maybe the crew just wanted a really long vacation. Why not click on one of the videos on the screen for more mysteries? Stay cautious, stay curious, and stay tuned for more strange tales. And remember, you should be scared.